What's going on, people? Welcome back to the Player Rating Show. This time, another defeat against City at home, 4-2. But there are, of course, performances that we're going to be delving into. As always, if you do enjoy the show, hit the like button, subscribe. You already know the drill. And also, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And your ratings. Your ratings are important. Let's see if you agree or disagree with us. Because I'll be honest, Patrick, I don't really agree with you based on our ratings. But anyways, we're gonna start with one that we both agree on, and we both disagreed on in the past. Dean Andersen with the goalie, of course. You're saying a 7. We both agree on a 7. Made a few saves. Of course, when you can see 4 goals, you have to look at the goalie, see if he can do any better. I don't think there is that. I think all the goals we just got outplayed, apart from maybe the one Kevin De Bruyne one, but that was inside the box. He was powered in, so it's hard to save that one. But yeah, some good saves. When you concede 4, I don't know if you can give higher than a 7.
No, I agree. I mean, watch the goals back. First goal, no one saving. Don't care who you are. No one saving the first De Bruyne goal.
Apart from Sam Johnson, yeah.
No one saving those. And kicking was good. And the other 3 goals we'll get to later were all defensive mistakes by coming down our right side by Grealish. Every single goal was exactly the same on that side. We'll get that later on. I'll pick out the defenders that made the mistakes, but I'm not going to blame Henderson for that today, because he made. Let me tell you something. The save on Rodri and the 1-on-1 versus Haaland should have been 7-8. So no, he was fine today.
Well, let's talk about the defenders then. You mentioned a few of them that made mistakes. Munoz gave a 5. I gave a 7. Is he one of them? Because that's a low rating.
Yep.
For what?
Yep.
For what goal?
You want to go first?
Yeah, no. I thought. In particular, I just thought we just got outplayed by City in the final third. I don't know if there were any outright defensive mistakes that stood out to me. You know, when I talk about defensive mistakes, of course, there's a few things where when you consider a goal, that someone's done something wrong. But I felt like it was City's class more than a poor defending that cost us these goals. But of course, I haven't watched the replay. I was there at the game watching it live.
Okay, so I'm not going to say they were mistakes in the classic, what let's say, if you want to call Ozil mistake, it's more of a mistake. But every single goal, and again, when you get a chance, watch it back, and you might change your rating, you might not. Again, I'm not saying he had a poor game, but it is so obvious that Man City, and again, I'll give them credit, Man City are absolutely brilliant. Absolutely the best I've seen in a long time, okay? But the other 3 goals, besides even the first De Bruyne goal, they all came down our right side. They targeted Munoz and to some extent Ward. Jack Grealish was involved in all 4 goals, and every time that he got across, he beat Munoz. Not saying he made a mistake, but go back and watch it. Every first cross that either De Bruyne then, I think De Bruyne did, he had 2 assists and he had the 2 goals. Every single time he put the ball in, it was from Grealish on their left, our right, beating Munoz, not getting past him, beating him for a ball into the box for who scored the Rico Lewis, and then obviously Haaland's goal. Go watch it back. He had 44% pass, 61% passing accuracy. But again, on the 3 of the 4 goals, he wasn't at fault, but they beat him, they targeted him. Whatever. He tried to get forward, so in his defense, he tried to get forward, especially after Olise came on. I think it's the first time they played together, right? Olise and Munoz, first time on the pitch together, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So there's definitely things to look forward to, but I'm telling you right now, go back and watch it. He just didn't have a great game. But again, none of our defenders did. We gave up 4 goals.
Joe Ward, 5.5, 6.5 from me. You mentioned Munoz, but I think the reason why they targeted down that side is because Joe Ward is down that side as well. So I think, where was Munoz's support? That's what I'll say if he's getting beaten. And I think it comes down to that. I don't think Wardy had a bad game in particular, but there's a reason why that side will get targeted and, has been targeted is because, 1, Ward ain't a centre-half, not saying he had a bad game, and 2, he just doesn't have the legs as he has before. So it's easier to target down that side where we know that Munoz's game, I'm not saying he's bad defensively, but his attack is better than his defense. So when you have Joe Ward there as well, that's just a liability. 2 players that, that ain't great defensively for various different reasons.
Right. I mean, same thing I just said. I said they initially beat Munoz, and then the forward was trying to help. But then you're talking about Kevin De Bruyne and Jack Grealish on the same side. Bro, who's stopping those 2? Who's going to stop them? Certainly not Munoz and Ward, who were just aren't great defensively anyway. I am not blaming them. I'm just throwing out the facts. The fact they did not have a great game because they were clearly targeted. They did not target Mitchell on the left side. They clearly said, and again, you're right. Ward is not a centre half, and neither is Lerma. So we're going to give up goals to teams like Man City. I'm just saying that I watched the game back, the highlights at least, several times. And I watched the goals again 3-4 times. I had it on my DVR, and I'm telling you, they targeted that side. You want to blame Munoz/Ward, and I'm not saying they made mistakes, but they weren't defensively good enough to handle those two players. But again, who can?
Yeah. Joachim Andersen, I thought, handled Haaland pretty well for the majority. I know that he scored a goal, but I thought he had a solid game today. Of course, to keep City quiet, you need to keep Haaland quiet. There's a few other players as well. And I don't know. I thought, especially in the first half, I forgot Haaland was even playing. And in the second half, of course, he scored that goal, but I think City just upped their game and we struggled with the defensive liabilities that we have. But 83% passing accuracy, has 63 touches as well, was very involved on the ball. 5 out of 5 grounds was 1, 1 out of 1 aerial was 1, and he was facing Haaland. I thought we had a solid game. That's why I gave him a 7.5, and you gave him a 6. I don't know. I thought we had a very good game. Andersen.
I thought he played okay. I mean, remember Haaland did beat him for that 1-on-1 what I talked about when Henderson made the save. But I mean, looking back on it, he probably could have gotten 7. You're right. I guess of our 3/5 defender, he was the best of the bunch. Haaland did score, but you know what? You're right. You're right. I'll take it back. It probably was a 7. But again, he had 4 goals.
7. Yeah.
No, 7. I said for me a 7. I wouldn't give him a 7. I wouldn't give him a 7. 7.5 for me is a very good game, and I don't think he had a very. I think he was okay, but I don't think it was great. And I think, but again, we're not gonna listen. It is what it is. 6, 7. It's not like a game of 5 or 4. So he was definitely the best of our defenders.
Yeah, and Lerma 6.5 from you, 7 from me, so we're not too far off there. But for me, I don't know. He had 59 touches and 83% passing accuracy, so he seemed a bit involved there. But I don't think Lerma was used as much. Like he was there when called upon, but down the left hand side, it was not that important. Like defensively, I think City attacked down our right. I think that's what it came down to.
Yeah, I mean, I give him credit. He's not a centre half. I give him credit for playing the whole 90+ minutes back there. Go back and watch it. Haaland beats him for the 3rd goal. Again, it's on Haaland. It's Grealish to KDB, Haaland cross. He was the last defender with Haaland, but I'm not blaming him for it. Again, maybe give him a 0.5 point higher. He tried. Listen, we're struggling with that back 3, and we were always going to struggle against a team that is the best team in the world. So maybe my ratings are slightly because of that. But again, I just think that it's hard to kill our defenders. I'm not gonna give people 3 and 4s, but I'm just trying to be honest. My recollection is Lerma was okay. He wasn't great, but he did his best. And again, you can't fault him for that.
Yeah, my lowest rating for the defenders is Mitchell in this game, and you gave a 6 as well. I think who else? You gave Wardy a 6. You gave someone else a 6, so it's not your lowest. But for me, it was the lowest. 50% passing accuracy, only 25 touches. I think the passing accuracy, you can ask the question of who's in front of him. Are they showing options? Because Eze, which we're going to talk about, the game that he's had, which wasn't that great. And Mitchell, quiet all around. I mean, he only had 1 ground duel and he won that, but he didn't have much to do down that side, especially going forward and defensively as well. So pretty average game.
Again, didn't notice him as much because they were on the other side. Listen, they did not worry about that side. They were focusing on De Bruyne and KDB. So if he could have had a great game. I didn't notice Mitchell that much. Try to get forward a little bit, but I mean, listen, we all know Man City. Pep is the greatest manager in the world. He's known the weaknesses on our right side, and he targeted it. Mitchell was okay today. Nothing stood out, good or bad for him. That's why I gave him a 6. So.
Yeah. Let's talk about Adam Wharton. This is one of the positives out of today's game. We both gave him an 8, so we agree there. Of course, we don't talk about our ratings before giving the players the ratings. And yeah, look, Patrick, forward passes on point. And I'll be honest, there's a few neutral fans, not even just City fans, saying, use Adam Wharton. He looks all right. And I don't like that already. But that's what's going to happen. He's a quality player. 85% passing accuracy. I thought he controlled the midfield relatively well, considering that he's facing one of the best teams, if not the best team in the world. And yeah, I loved him. I love watching him play. He's so composed on the ball. And the way that when they try to go for a tackle, the way he just dribbles past the players, fantastic. Like he made it look easy. And I thought he had a brilliant game again.
I'm going to repeat myself. 1, he's not going to be at Palace very long because he's that good. His passing ability is off the chart because he plays with the head on the swivel. He knows before he gets the ball what he's going to do with the ball. He's got that way about him. The ball to Mateta for the goal was brilliant. First assist for Palace. It was a brilliant ball. Brilliant ball. Kid had a great game, and he played the entire 90+ minutes first time all season. I thought he and Hughes did a good job. Again, going up against Rodri, Jesus Christ, what are you supposed to do? So I mean, he was very good today. And again, they don't know who he is now. Teams, they will, because they'll be buying him
They are already.
80
That's
million.
what I hate.
Yeah.
He's only been here for what a few months, and already they're gonna notice him in games like this. Let's talk about Will Hughes, because he actually had a good game against Bournemouth. We gave him high rating. I gave him 6.5. You gave it 7. He just hasn't got the legs. That's all I can say.
That's fair.
Like when he's facing opposition that's moving the ball faster, and he has to go left, right. Like it's easy to kind of play around him. We know his limitations going forward. I don't expect him to do much there. He had some few good moments, but overall, it's pretty average game. I thought the Bournemouth game was better from him. I just feel like City kind of passed it around him a bit too easily at times.
Bournemouth game was easier, but I have to give him credit. I don't think that I would have targeted him as a weakness in our midfield, and I don't think he played like a weakness today. Again, City went around the outside, especially our right side the entire time. Didn't really use the center of the pitch. Did you catch the post-match reaction show?
A bit of it.
Okay, so I thought Hammer made a brilliant point. We're missing in our midfield a Jedinak, Michael Hughes type midfielder. Just get your foot stuck in and just a hard tackle. I love Hughes. I thought he was that kind of player, but he's never been that player to play. We thought he was.
But no, he is. But he hasn't got the legs to be that player.
He's not.
He loves the tackle. He can't catch up though.
He does, but that's not. If you know him as I knew him from Derby County days. That's not really what he was. Actually a number 10 type player. He developed that little thing about him. That's not really his style. My point, Michael Hughes, if you remember him, was always that way. Get stuck in, make a tackle. Jedi, obviously, different stature player. And we're missing that. But having said that, again, I have criticized Hughes in the past for coming off of Wharton. I thought today was very solid. I thought City dominated the midfield, but it wasn't because of Hughes and Wharton. They did their best to get around the pitch, and I thought Hughes did a decent job again. A little slow on the KDB goal. I'm going to say the second of his goals, but overall, I thought Hughes had a solid game. Don't know what else you're asking for, man. Listen, he shouldn't be playing, but he is, and he's doing his best.
Yeah. Let's talk about Ebbs. 5, bang average. I don't know what else to add. Bang average, inconsistent, decision making, not on point. Maybe Olise comes back, he improves, but it's not helping his claims about moving to the top side and being able to carry. Olise comes on, we'll talk about Elise's performance. He makes an immediate impact. Eze feels like he needs someone else next to him. He's out of form. I don't know if it's fatigue. I don't know if there's something else going on. But Glasner made a big decision to take him off for Jeffrey Schlupp, which says everything, because, there wasn't much of a difference between them two, because even if Eze wasn't on the pitch, I don't know what we would have been missing. He just didn't offer nothing. At times, it was a liability.
Yeah, slow in decision making. Listen, look at Wharton. Look how he makes a quick decision and can see a pass. Eze has the ability; it's just not there. Subbed off early. He was poor today. And we can't afford to have a poor Eze. But I've said it already, right? I've talked about he's not a big 6 player. I'm not going to go over and again, but he has to be better for us. I thought it was a big decision by Glasner, and I credit him taking him off. I was kind of surprised, but it had to be done. I want to go to an incident you didn't mention yet. The penalty, for me, it's not a penalty. He's got to either jump for that ball, or because he's not. I mean, we talked about this in the past. Palace players are not gonna earn that kind of a penalty against a Man City. And to me, he does have to go down there. I mean, he could have. So it is what it is. But again, another poor game. Let's hope that at some point he turns it around, because we're gonna need him. So
in a system that requires you to push the ball forward quickly, he just takes his time. He takes his time too much. He slows it down too much. It doesn't help. And maybe he has to adapt to Glasner's system. Maybe that's what it is. But so far, he hasn't been that great. He's been poor. And he could easily not start games, because I don't know what we will be missing without him. But based on his current form right now, there's a reason why Glasner took him off as well, because he's just not offering enough. He's not offering enough throughout the 90 minutes. Jordan Ayew, 5.5, 6. He was involved defensively, tracking back, etc. Didn't do much in attack that I can remember.
Yeah, you do.
He only had 20 touches in the whole game. So
yeah, but you remember the one thing you do remember, at 1-0, he steals the ball for Rodri, 1-on-1 with the keeper.
Yeah,
could have passed it inside to Mateta.
Yeah,
I thought that lane was the thing.
But
he took a shot. He has to score that shot. I don't have a problem with the shot, because to me, they closed the defenders, Diaz, and so they shut down the pass to Mateta and Eze. maybe a little early to Eze. Once he got into the box, he couldn't pass the ball to Eze. But the shot, oh my gosh, another half a foot, he scores, and it's 2-0. That's it for me as far as contribution. But he looks better than he has in the past. A little bit better. But again, if Ayew and Eze play like that, Mateta, who we're gonna get to next, is gonna have a long rest of the season because he needs more help.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Hopefully, we've got one player that we're going to talk about that can help him. But the number 10s that we have right now, because it is like a number 10, the Eze and Ayew role, they're not 10ing. they're
not 10ing, D.
Yeah, they're not 10ing right now. Exactly. Yeah. That's the best way to describe it. Mateta, 8.5, 8 from me. He's been fantastic.
8.
My bad.
Shame on you.
He's been fantastic. I'm not even just talking about his goal, his overall game. Said it in the Bournemouth game. Said it pretty much feels like every other game that he's been. Glasner's been here. Hold up play, much better. Scoring goals. Even if he doesn't, he contributes to the side. And once again, fantastic.
Yeah. Again, great ball by Wharton. People say Mateta can't run, huh? All right, yeah. Watch him on that one-on-one into the box, and then the finish. And I love it about it is that the confidence levels are high. I saw the interview that he did about earlier, how confident he feels about playing. He's playing more games. Listen, I made a mistake a couple of games ago. I thought that was his 10th goal. Today was his 10th goal. He had now 7 league goals, 3 in the cup, double digits. Amazing. I never thought I'd ever say about Mateta, but you know how much I love the guy. And listen, he's going from like a club, like a club like hero to like a club legend very quickly because he's having a great season.
Not legend, but season. I mean, he's heading in the right direction, but I wouldn't. It's way too early.
No, I said can I finish? I said I'm not saying he's there yet. I say he's going towards that. Because let's take a quick look at our strikers in the Premier League era. Who's been the best one? Clearly, Benteke, right? Yeah. After Benteke was who? We don't have anybody. So my point is that I'm not saying he's a pad selection. So everybody in the comments, don't at me, whatever. I'm saying he has gone from like a little bit of a small time bit player who's scored against Brighton and Millwall to now becoming like he's not Ian Wright, but I'm just saying he's come a long way. And under Glasner, his potential to me still hasn't been reached yet.
But that's the thing. When Glasner first joined, I was looking at Mateta as one of those players. What can he do with him? Because we've seen Glasner and Weghorst and the players that are bigger in size and getting the best out of them. And he's had an immediate impact on Mateta. So he's getting the best out of him, which is kind of expected with under Glasner's system with a manager like Glasner based on what he's done in the past. So yeah, look, he's doing fantastic. Hopefully he keeps it up. He just needs a bit more support behind him. But despite that, he's still
a lot more support.
Yeah. And let's talk about the bench. Jeffrey Schlupp, he came on today. I'll be honest, when he came on, my blood was boiling.
I know
6.5 and 7 because I'm just like, Eze's coming off, but then Schlupp's coming on. Eze should be subbed off, but what's Schlupp going to really do? He got an assist for the Edouard goal. Yep. Apart from that, maybe he didn't do anything in particular significant, but he still contributed, which is what we need. And he delivered that, Patrick, coming off the bench.
He did. I mean, we're going to get to someone else who delivered later, and even though it was too little too late. Listen, when you're a sub, when you come on, make an impact. If it's for 25 minutes, 10 minutes, make an impact. Much people want to kill Schlupp. He made an impact today. He did more than Eze did, and he was on the pitch for a 4 for the time. So listen, he did his job. I mean, he wasn't fantastic, didn't have a lot of touches, but he worked hard, and he created an assist. So same way he assisted the in the first Man City game. Guy loves playing against Man City, bro. So listen, credit to him, man. He got his job done. And you're saying you are upset, but let's be honest. Today there weren't other options to come in for him. Now, hopefully next week, Saki's back in the mix, so maybe he's a option. And now Edouard scored a goal. We get to the minute, so there are gonna be other options. But and I know that when there's a sub to be made, Jeffrey Schlupp is your man.
Well, talking about the sub to be made, Jeffrey Schlupp is your man. At what point do we look at Eze not starting and getting dropped to the bench?
That's a massive call to make as a manager. So I don't know. Is
it still too early for that?
I think so.
Well, let's see.
You threw it out there, so you never know.
It's actually wild. I'm comparing Eze to Jeffrey Schlupp, but one of them.
It is wild.
This is where we're at right now.
Wow.
Let's move on to Olise. You came back. He's back. Jeez, at least he didn't get injured, which is good as well. 7 from both of us. 2 big chances created.
Yep.
what we know what Olise can do. We've seen it. We've seen it with the limited amount of games that he's played this season, contributing significantly. And it's massive, Patrick. Massive to have him back. And he looked positive in the limited amount of time that he played.
Yeah, I mean, does what he does. Glad to see him back. He kind of gives the whole fan base a little bit of a lift. And like for me, he had to come on today at some point. Not because we're going to come back from 4-1 when he came on, but because if he doesn't play this week, the chance of him playing any minutes against Liverpool go down, and then the next match is what Liverpool is against West Ham maybe after, or Newcastle, one of those two.
Yeah.
So the point is, he needs to play a little bit, and he came on, showed no ill effects. He'll get up to speed with Glasner's system, etc. So no, I'm glad to see him back, man. We need him. We need him really, really badly. So I'm glad he's back.
Yeah, let's see how many minutes he can play against Liverpool. Hopefully, at least one half. That'll be an improvement, or even more, which will be better. Ahamada, look, Hamada's an interesting one. You gave him a 6, I gave him a 7. I thought he had a positive influence coming off the bench.
I agree.
I'm thinking about it whilst watching the game. Will Hughes just starting? What's the alternative? Well, maybe Ahamada. But then I was thinking, Ahamada's come on a few times this season and he hasn't looked that great. But then again, today, I thought he looked positive. I preferred him to his other performances because there's been times today where he's been coming off the bench this season, and he just hasn't looked like the same Ahamada what we expected in preseason. But today, I thought he was a bit more energetic and forward thinking.
He was limited touches. I thought he was positive in those touches. But this is the thing with him is that in the parts he's come on, even on the Glasner once or twice, he hasn't come on in his position. He's not a wide player. He's an 8, or he's not a wide player like Olise or I would say Ayew or Raksaki is that kind of player. So he's playing more inside, get more involved in the game. I want to see him more, but you're right. I don't think starting him over Hughes would make any sense. He's not ready for that. But I need to see more of this kid at some point because I think there's a lot of potential there for him to play. Again, when he plays in midfield, he always looks a little bit better. Very short cameo today, but I think that he did a decent job today. Didn't make any mistakes. Tried to get us forward, make some simple, basic passes. But I want to see more. But I don't think starting him would make any sense at this point in the season.
Yeah, Edouard, he scored a goal today. When he came on, I'll be honest, the first few minutes or maybe the 5 minutes or so, he looked like, oh, here we go, another Edouard sub appearance, not really doing much. But then again, you got the goal. After the goal, he seemed like confidence increased, bringing others into the game as well. And we need him. We need him to push Mateta. We need him for the sake of Mateta as well, because Mateta can't play 90 minutes every single game. And talking about appearances off the bench, we mentioned him last time, saying that he does absolutely nothing. But today, he was decent. He scored a goal and he actually contributed.
No, he obviously had the first 2 minutes. He had a shot created by Olise that went right at the goalkeeper. But after that, again, he did get the goal.
Oh, yeah, that was that shot that he should have scored, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That was pathetic. Right. Yeah, that was actually pathetic. But then he scored, so he made up for it.
But again, exactly. Having said, listen, we can't expect our players to be perfect because people expect, okay, Mateta missed a chance, I missed a chance. We're not going to have 100% accuracy on shots. If we were there, they wouldn't be at Palace, right? So, but again, credit to Edouard. I mentioned during the last play ratings that he needs to make an impact. He did today. Yes, it didn't mean anything. It was a second goal and a 4-2 loss. But for his confidence levels and for us as fans saying if he comes, he can contribute in a closer game, I was very happy to see him contribute. He's been out for a while. Hopefully, fitness levels are getting up a little higher. If he was to start a game, not Liverpool, but another game over Mateta to rest him, I wouldn't have a problem now because I feel like the Mateta, Edouard could contribute. And again, he was playing more as a striker, which we all know he prefers than playing wide. So let's hope he can get more goals because we're going to need more goals from him or somebody. It can't be all Mateta, that's for sure.
Exactly. And now finally, Glasner, 8 from both of us. I can keep it short. I don't think he done anything wrong today, in particularly the tactical setup or so. I thought you got it spot on with the plays. We created chances against City. We scored goals. I think the defense let us down, but I don't think that was tactical. That was more of City's class and the lack of class that we have in defense. We're playing midfielders. We're playing right back in central defense. We're playing players out of position. So I thought today was positive. I left the game with more positives than negatives. I know people are looking at the other results, but if you take away the other results of other teams, etc., today Palace, funny enough, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't.
I was frustrated because I hate to lose. But let me tell you something. This man's attitude, I absolutely love, Dee. pre-match, the pre-match conference talking about how if he doesn't want to win, he wouldn't even come. I'll go sightseeing. Just his whole attitude. No more free figure hits from our managers. You know what I mean? Talking after the game, he wasn't happy that we lost. Some managers say, "Yeah, of course we lost. It's Man City, expect to lose." No, he wants to win. Even though, again, ability-wise, we're not anywhere close to Man City. His attitude was to try and win the game. Did we try? Yes. We got the early goal. Was it too early? Possibly. But then he brings on subs that make a difference. Ahamada was positive. Don't like Schlupp. Schlupp was positive. Olise positive. Edouard positive. You know what I mean? You really mentioned Klein, but Klein wasn't on for only a few minutes. But my point is, setup was fine. He cannot legislate for Richards, Gahey, Holding not being available. So having to play Lerma and Ward. If he had a choice, he wouldn't play them. So setup was fine. Subs were fine. Tactically fine. Said the right thing before game for me, after the games. I love the guy, man. I'm serious. I really love where we're going. Yes, we lost 4-2. Yes, I was very upset about it after the game. But honestly, I think we're going to be fine under Glasner because I think that this is the right manager for us because he knows what he's doing.
Exactly. If we play like we did against City, if we play
we'll
like
get results.
For example, starts against the likes of West Ham, Newcastle, I think we'll pick up more points. There's no way we don't pick up more points towards the end of the season if we play like that. But look, that's it from Patrick and I. If you have enjoyed this, like, subscribe, your player ratings in the comment section down below. Make sure to check out the live match reaction if you haven't already done so. And we'll be back. We'll be back looking ahead to another easy game. And this time it's going to be against Liverpool. Until next time, up the Palace.